Here is Lorenzo Nava speaking to you on behalf of Rescogita, the startup rooted into eco-psychology. And at today's fourth episode of our learning series, we would like to take you to the magical, fantastic, amazing world of experience. Tell us something. Do you recall an experience, something you experienced that really taught you something? Yes, it's that thing called life. Well, experiences do teach us a lot. And that is why today we want to take you into Kolb's theory of experiential learning, so we can understand how we learn from experience and perhaps start treating our future experiences a bit differently. Have a good trip. Experiential Learning Cycle by David Kolb. Let's start with introducing our brilliant author, David Kolb. He's the author of Learning Styles back in 1984, and Kolb's experiential learning theory is about a 4-stage cycle of learning and 4 separate learning styles concerning the learner's internal cognitive processes. Learning involves gaining abstract concepts that can be applied flexibly in many situations. The impetus for the development of new concepts is provided by new experiences. Learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. So let's start to go into the experiential learning cycle. Kolb's experiential learning style theory is typically represented by a 4-stage learning cycle in which the learner touches every base. Forgive the baseball metaphor. And it looks like this. We have a concrete experience, so doing or having an experience. Then comes the reflective observation, reviewing and reflecting on the experience. The abstract conceptualization follows, that is, concluding learning from the experience. The active experimentation then comes, which is planning and trying out what you've learned until the next experience comes. Concrete experience is a new experience or situation that is encountered, or a reinterpretation of an existing experience in the past. Reflective observation of the new experience. Very important. Are any differences between experience and understanding? Abstract conceptualization. Reflection gives rise to a new idea or a modification of an existing concept that person has learned from their experience. Active experimentation. The learner applies the idea or the ideas to the surrounding world. And effective learning is seen when a person progresses through a cycle of 4 stages. Having a concrete experience, which is followed by observation of and reflection of that experience, which leads to the formation of abstract concepts and analysis and generalizations, conclusions, which are then used to test a hypothesis in a future situation, which results in new experience. To make it short, experience, reflection, conceptualize, test. That's it. Learning is an integrated process. Each stage is mutually supportive and feeds into the next. It is possible to enter the cycle at any stage and follow it through its logical sequence. Effective learning only happens when a learner can execute all 4 stages of the model. Therefore, no one stage of the cycle is effective as a learning procedure on its own. All 4 stages need to be touched. Sets out this model here It sets out 4 distinct learning styles, which are based on a 4-stage learning cycle we saw before. Kolb explains that different people naturally prefer a certain single different learning style. Various factors influence your preferred style. For example, your social environment, your education experiences, or the basic cognitive structure of the individual. Whatever influences the choice of style, the learning style preferences itself is actually the product of 2 pairs of variables, or 2 separate choices that we make, which Kolb presented as lines of an axis, each with conflicting modes at either end. A typical presentation of Kolb's 2 continuums is the right-left axis we see above, we see it right here, which is called the processing continuum, how to approach a task, and the up and down axis, which is called perception continuum, our emotional response or how we think or feel about it. We cannot perform both variables on a single axis at the same time. For example, think and feel. Our learning style is a product of these 2 choice decisions. It's often easier to see the construction of Kolb's learning styles in terms of a 2x2 matrix. Each learning style represents a combination of 2 preferred styles. The matrix also highlights Kolb's terminology for the 4 learning styles: diverging, assimilating, converging, accommodating. And here we have it. Concrete experience, which is the feeling part, which goes into accommodating and diverging, and the thinking part, which is abstract conceptualization, converging and assimilating. And if we look at the columns, we have the active experimentation, which is made of the feeling part, accommodating, and the thinking part of converging, and the reflective observations, the watching, which is made of the feeling part, diverging, and the thinking part, assimilating. To simplify things a bit. So let's look at these learning styles a bit deeper now. Knowing your learning style enables learning to be oriented according to the preferred method. Everyone responds to and needs the stimulus of all types of learning styles, to one extent or another. It's a matter of using emphasis that fits best with the given situation and your learning style preference. Diverging, so feeling and watching. You can look at things from different perspectives. You're sensitive. You prefer to watch than do. You tend to gather information and use imagination to solve problems. You are best at looking at situations from different angles. Diverging, because you perform better in situations that need idea generation, like brainstorming. People with a diverging learning style have a broad cultural interest and like to gather information. They are interested in people and tend to be imaginative and emotional and tend to be strong in the arts. People with diverging style prefer to work in groups, to listen with an open mind, and to receive personal feedback. Assimilating, so watching and thinking. Assimilating learning preference involves a concise, logical approach. Ideas and concepts are more important than people. You need a good and clear explanation than a practical opportunity. You excel at understanding wide-ranging information and organizing it in a clear and logical format. So the people with an assimilating learning style are less focused on people and more interested in ideas and abstract concepts. People with this style are more attracted to logically sound theories than approaches based on practical value. This learning style is important for effectiveness and information and science careers. In formal learning situations, people with this style prefer readings, lectures, exploring analytical models, and having time to think things through. Converging, so doing and thinking. Converging learning style, you can solve problems and will use your learning to find solutions to practical issues. You prefer technical tasks and are less concerned with people and interpersonal aspects. So people with a converging learning style are best at finding practical uses for ideas and theories. They can solve problems and make decisions by finding solutions to questions and problems. People with a converging learning style are more attracted to technical tasks and problems than social or interpersonal issues. A converging learning style enables specialist and technology abilities. People with a converging style like to experiment with new ideas, to simulate and to work with practical applications. Accommodating, doing and feeling. The accommodating learning style is hands-on and relies on intuition rather than logic. You use other people's analysis and prefer to take a practical, experiential approach. You are attracted to new challenges and experiences and to carry out plans. So, accommodating people commonly act on gut instinct rather than logical analysis. People with an accommodating learning style will tend to rely on others for information, then carrying out their own analysis. This learning style is prevalent with the general population. And this sums up briefly Kolb's theory. So if you got curious and you want to find out more, strongly advise the book Experiential Learning, Experience the Source of Learning and Development by Kolb. And it's truly a breakthrough in the field. Moreover, we advise you also to go online to the website Simply Psychology and find there the article by MacLeod, I think it's pronounced, on learning styles and experiential learning cycle. And this will give you a very good insight into the whole theory as it did to me. Thank you very much, and remember to follow us on www.rescogita.academy. Thank you. And how was it? Eye-opener, right? Yes, and here in the Rescogita we use quite a lot of Kolb's cycle in our trainings, in our activities. And indeed, treated rightly, experience can be such a great teacher. Right, anyways, if you want to share with us your discoveries, your learnings, your awareness, feel free. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on LinkedIn, you can find us on our blog, you can find us here actually. Drop us a comment, send a message, say hi. Would be nice to hear from you. And until our next episode, would like to ask you one thing. That thing is to please take very good care of yourself. Goodbye.